So in this video, I wanted to talk about the sphere of influence. And this is a very interesting topic about what you're actually able to control and manipulate in your life. As far as you may have in my previous videos heard that I talk a lot about the fact that we're all interconnected, we're all one, that ultimately at the very highest level, you are God. 100% of you is God. It is the quantum field. It is the oneness. You're just experiencing yourself from this limited, small perspective. And that souls incarnate on this planet in order to have experiences and learn certain life lessons. And if you want to know more about that, check out my other content. I've got a lot of other content about a lot of really cool stuff, especially on how to become superhuman. So join me on one of my reclaiming sessions in my Facebook group called Reclaim Yourself. Just check out the links down below. So what is this sphere of influence? Well, you have to understand that while you do literally create your own reality, and science has proven this, using quantum mechanics and the understanding of the quantum field, we can take the science out and just simplify it. Everything that you believe and everything that you perceive is based on your programs, your conditioning, and what you were taught and the environment that you were raised in and brought up in. So your reality under normal circumstances, you can control a certain aspect of your reality and your thought forms, your beliefs, how you interact with the world, and the decisions that you make based on the now moment determine and dictate the outcome of your life. And a lot of us feel like we don't have control, right? That we don't have control of our lives, that there's all these things that are influencing and impacting our lives. And that is true to a degree, but the universe knows what those external influences are in the first place. So you, as the creator of your life, are able to overcome any and all of those obstacles if you believe it and if you are willing to take whatever actions that you need to take in order to change what's in your reality. So within your sphere of influence, you have full 100% control. For instance, my sphere of influence right now is my home, my condo. I can see my kitchen over there. I can see my living room over there. I can also see the beautiful part of California that I see. And so my sphere of influence right now is this bubble that I live in. And I can do whatever I want in it. I can go into the kitchen. I can make food. I can go hang out in the living room. I can go off into my bedrooms. I can do whatever it is that I want. No one's impacting me in a negative way or in any way, shape, or form, other than if I had family members and kids and other people that impact my life. But I also have influence over them as well. And you see, when you align with the oneness, when you align with who you truly are, who you were born to be, and you allow your divinity, the full power of who you are, to shine through doing the different meditation practices that I teach, and through doing the reclaiming session and doing the processes in my instant breakthrough system training, you can then now consciously work with your higher self, your superconscious self, the quantum field, your God self, your soul, your I am presence, your higher self, great spirit, whatever terminology works for you, you can use that. You can summon that. You can interact with that higher self and actually start aligning with who you truly are and who you were born to be, and start consciously impacting your life and manipulating your life. And that's how synchronicities happen. That's how miracles happen. That's how blessings happen. You start becoming acutely aware of why your reality and your world looks the way it does, how your belief systems and the limitations and the pain and the trauma and the programming and conditioning, whatever you have going on inside of you, how that impacts your reality and your life. When you start watching the news, you start going onto social media, and you start expanding your reality into areas that you have no influence over. And I will correct that statement shortly, but for now, let's just say you have no influence over those areas. So when you turn on the television, as an example, and you're watching the news, and there's the war in Ukraine going on, you're not able to control and manipulate what's going on in Ukraine. When you watch what's going on with the presidential elections, and there's riots and there's craziness out in the world, you're now bringing into your sphere of influence energy from other sources, from other areas of the world, and you're now inviting that into your sphere of influence, into the reality that you have control over, and that is your reality. You see, right now, my reality is not a war. Right now, my reality is not difficult. The world isn't falling apart in my reality, in my sphere of influence. So when I invite all of that energy into my reality, and I start buying into all the garbage, and I start allowing it to pull me down, it starts making me upset and angry, and it starts making me feel like there's no hope, or it starts making me afraid of what's going to happen on this planet and what's happening in the world, then that's a problem, because now your reality is being influenced by an external source that you don't actually necessarily have control over to a degree, other than to turn it off and to not expose yourself to that stuff that's now negatively impacting your reality. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that people should be naive. I'm not saying that people shouldn't know what is going on in the world. But I am saying you have to be very aware, and you have to see it for what it is. And you have to be connected to who you truly are and who you were born to be, to truly not be impacted in a way where that energy now starts impacting your day-to-day life, because that's what creates the anxiety, it's what creates the depression, it's what creates the negative impacts in your life, because it's changing your neurology. Because while I was in my bubble and living my perfect, great world, not in denial, I'm quite aware of what's going on in the world. It's just, what do I choose to put my focus on? I choose to put my focus on that which I can manipulate and I can control and I can make better. And if I focus on more of my energy on that and not on the outer world and what's on television and what's in the news and what's in my Facebook feeds and all of that garbage, ultimately, most of which is biased, controlled, manipulated, and it's a certain flavor of narrative, whatever the powers that be want to feed me, then you're screwed, for lack of a better word. Because if that starts fostering any non-love inside of you, it's pulling your vibration down, and you're now becoming one with that instead of one with this, with who you truly are as unconditional love. Our job is to raise our vibration and to harness as much unconditional love as humanly possible into our bodies, to raise our vibration, to flush out all the non-love, all the programming, all the conditioning, all the things that are holding us back, all the limitations, all the things that are not of us, so that we can literally live on this planet as superhuman beings, tapping into our true power, our true nature, just like that newborn baby that was born as unconditional love. So the sphere of influence is really, really critical to understand. And talking about impacting the world, right? Because I did say at one point that you can't control what's happening in the world and in the Ukraine war and with the presidency and all of that, but that's actually not true. You can, and you 100% influence that when you choose love over fear, when you choose truth over lies. But when I talk about truth, I'm not talking about the truth of what's going on out there, because that's all a mess out there at the moment. No one knows what the truth is, to be quite frank, because there is so much corruption and so much karma and so much garbage that's being worked out. There's so much non-love that's being flushed out in the world right now to get resolved, because every single soul on this planet is being forced to make a decision. And it's an individual decision that happens on the inside. And that decision is, do I choose love, unconditional love, or do I choose fear and separation? And that is, most people think, well, that's an easy choice. It's not, because there are so many ways in which we lie to ourselves, in ways in which we project our crap onto other people, our non-love onto other people. When you complain about the world or you complain about your government, you're sending non-love into that. So you're actually contributing to the non-loving actions of those organizations or groups of people that you're projecting onto, that you're sending negative energy to. So you're to blame. That's what people don't understand. As you raise your vibration, we're moving into the fourth dimensional reality. You know what happens in the fourth dimensional reality? Your thoughts become reality more and more, because the third dimensional reality is the densest plane of creation, right? It's the physical, densest, slowest, lowest vibrational plane of creation where existence can exist, where life can exist. So when we're now heading into the fourth dimension, because we're heading to the fifth dimensional plane of consciousness as part of this transition into the age of Aquarius, as the planet completes many, many different cycles, including the precession of the equinoxes, and a lot of other cycles are ending right now for this new beginning that's to take place. But the question is, what is it going to look like? How far does it have to go in order for humanity to start choosing love, unconditional love, and to stop this madness of discriminating against one another and the left versus the right and this and that, and if they're not, are you this and blah, blah, blah. It's madness, complete madness. Everyone's buying into the illusion. And there's only one solution: love, unconditional love. There's a saying, united we stand, divided we fall. Hello? It shouldn't matter what color, what your sexual orientation are, what your political beliefs are, what your religious beliefs are, or whatever else. We're all human beings. We're all one. No one is right. No one is better than. If you truly understand the fundamentals of creation and of how the universe works, that has been proven by science, again, through the quantum mechanics, through understanding the quantum sciences and the metaphysics and all the different things, as science is incorporating more of the spiritual concepts. And as they're now able to, with technological advances and AI and things like that, they're now able to start understanding the nature of creation, something that ancient wisdom has been speaking about since the beginning of time. We've always had access to this information. It's just been hidden. But now it's becoming a reality for everybody. And like I said, the planet's vibration is increasing because of the transition that needs to happen. That's facilitating a great awakening, and has been now for a very long time. But now it's accelerated much, much more. And everything you see that's happening on the planet is a result of all that love that's coming in, that's raising the vibration, and all the non-love that gets forced out as a result. Because when you start working on yourself and you start removing all the non-love, which will include all the trauma, all the conditioning, all the programming, all the things that hold you back, then what will be left is love. But when you invoke that love, the non-love has to come out. It's part of the process. And that's what most people are avoiding. They're avoiding facing themselves. They're avoiding the emotions that come up around it. They're avoiding dealing with the monkey mind. And when I mean dealing with the monkey mind, the anxiety and the depression, I'm talking about the people who are putting themselves on medications and drugs and suppressants. They're all suppressants. When all you need to do is give expression to the emotions, give expression to the thoughts. Don't buy into them. Allow it to work itself out. And if you attend one of my free reclaiming sessions and get into some of my programs and watch some of my videos, you'll be provided with all sorts of really, really cool and simple tools that will literally transform your life, with one condition, that you actually do them. And they're simple, but the number one thing that you have to do is establish the relationship with your true higher self. And that's an inside job. No one can do that work for you, but you can solicit the help from your higher self, from your oneness, from your interconnectedness with Source. And you know, the cool thing about it is that the more that you raise your vibration, the more access to it you have, the clearer and the easier it becomes. But it's a conscious communication that takes place. It's the number one thing that any human being can do, is to take the time every single day and go within, because that's the only place that all the answers to all your problems lie. And as you raise your vibration and get the non-love out, and you become more stronger, and more of your true power and your true divinity comes forth, then you won't be as fearful. You won't be as impacted by anything that's beyond your sphere of influence. And the universe will be able to intervene and intercede in your life and guide you, rather than you being the asteroid that's hurled around. You become the center of your universe. You become the creator, because you are the creator. And you actually start transitioning out of being a consumer because The world wants you to be the consumer of all the content, the consumer of all the foods that they want to feed you, the consumer of everything that they dish out at you. But when you become a creator, which is helping to realize your true self, your inherent divinity, then you're now exerting energy rather than taking it in. And as you raise your vibration, which you can't fake it till you make it type thing, you have to genuinely do the work and you have to genuinely choose love, then you start raising yourself outside of some of the heinous things that are happening in the world, because your frequency won't be able to match the frequency of the lower garbage that's happening. And you will start creating and manifesting into your life higher vibrational people and consciousness and actions and experiences. And it's just magic. It works 100% of the time. And it is literally bulletproof. Literally bulletproof. But you have to let go of the craziness. You have to stop buying into the things that are outside of your sphere of influence. Now, again, I'm not saying to be in denial. What I'm saying is take your power back and realize who you truly are, who you were born to be, and make your life exactly what it was meant to be, and be the human that you are, and not buy into all of this stuff. You have a gift, you have a talent, you have a reason for being here. And no matter what the world has told you, no matter how you were raised, no matter where you live in the world, what your demographic is, what your culture is, you chose that, and your superconscious self, your God self, knows how to overcome it, because it helped facilitate you being in that circumstance and situation in the first place. It's the perfect vehicle that you chose to embody in order to have a certain life lessons, certain life experiences. You see, when you start getting out of the victim consciousness and the victim mentality, all of a sudden, everything changes. All of a sudden, you can start seeing the world for what it truly is. All of a sudden, you start having 100% control and ability to change your reality, because no longer is your energy and that victim consciousness tugging on you and pulling you down. And no longer are the things that are outside of your sphere of influence, no longer do they have any impact or hold over you. And you'll always be one step ahead of the game. Because if you truly foster that trust in yourself, in your connectedness, to your gut feeling, to your heart, then you're guided, you're protected. You'll be exactly where you need to be when you need to be. And just remember, in the grand scheme of infinity, your life is not even a blink of an eye, not even a drop in the ocean. We're immortal beings. We've done this many, many times before. But if you really want to help and change the world, and you want to protect yourself, the only way is to choose love. The only way, unconditional love. The only way is to raise your vibration, which you can only do by being loving. And you can't fake that. You can't fake it. The non-love inside of you has to go. Everything that is not of unconditional love has to go. The conditioning, the programming, the limitations, the belief systems, the anger, the resentment, the hurt, the pain, has to go. But you have to be the one to let it go. You have to be willing. So once again, if you need help, then come and join me in my Facebook group down below. Join me for a free reclaiming session where I start that process of helping you to connect with your higher self and to foster the greatest, the most important relationship you could ever foster. Because at the end of the day, your reality and your perception of reality begins with you and ends with you. And what do you choose? What do you want it to look like? And if you allow the outer world and all the material trappings to suck you in and to tempt you away from this and your unlimited potential to create the life that you deserve to live and were born to live, but there's certain things that are still going to happen to you. There are certain things, because there could be a war that starts out here. There could be a natural disaster. There could be a tsunami that happens out here at some point, right? But if I've done what I need to do, then I won't be here to witness that, will I? Because I might just so happen to be traveling somewhere else in the world. Or maybe I will be here. And maybe I'll be the one that will be level-headed, not going crazy, and I'll be able to help those that need it. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is not mumbo-jumbo, woo-woo stuff. It's getting real. It's getting real, and it's going to get a lot more real because there's a fight. And that fight is that humanity is afraid. They want to hold on to the old ways of being. And that can't sustain itself in the new world that is going to unfold. And as a collective consciousness, we're going to choose how graceful that transition is, how easy it's going to be, or how difficult it's going to be, and what the collateral damage is going to be. That's just the truth. So that's why all these people that are making predictions and things like that, and all these people that are feeding all the Armageddon and the conspiracy theory stuff, they're actually feeding the beast. They're actually doing what the dark forces on this third dimensional reality want you to do. You have to choose love at all costs. You have to not complain. You're better off to send love to all of those factions, all of those organizations, just like when people do the group prayers and they're able to scientifically measure the impact when thousands of people unite and do prayers for peace and prayers for healing on individuals and people, and it actually does create change. It's the same principle. Send love out into the world and you will help heal it and transform it from the inside out. Send frustration, complaints, and anger and victim consciousness and all of that, and you create more of it. This fascination with all conspiracy theory stuff and this fascination with the negativity in the world, and it's like a drug, it's like this addiction that people have. It messes with your neurology. And then people wonder why mental health awareness is a thing now. Why anxiety and depression is the true pandemic of our times. Watch my other content and learn more about what you can do to transform your entire reality. Thank you.